He's one of Hollywood's most talented and charming actors.
He's such a fantastic actor.
He's also got a magnetic presence and a unique style that makes him stand out in any crowd. From his iconic scorpion jacket in Drive to his dapper suits in Crazy Stupid Love, he has a knack for bringing style and swagger to every role he takes on.
Obviously, Ryan is one of the best actors working right now.
Whether he's breaking hearts as a romantic lead, brooding in an action thriller, or showing off his comedic chops, he has proven time and again that he's one of the most talented actors of his generation. Let's make a close-up on Ryan Gosling.
Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling was born November 12, 1980 in London, Ontario, Canada. His father Thomas worked for a paper mill and his mother Donna was a secretary. Ryan's parents were both part of the Mormon religion, and that was a pretty big part of his life when he was a kid, but he has since not been a part of the church and it really isn't a factor in his life anymore, but it was back then.
Diagnosed with attention deficit disorder as a child, Ryan faced challenges in school as a result. He found solace in acting, which allowed him to channel his energy and creativity in a positive way.
Ryan Gosling didn't love school when he was growing up. He had a hard time learning things and he felt like the other kids were picking up things faster than him. There was a part of him that just wanted to be a grown-up already, and that time kind of made him feel not so great about himself. But when he found performing, everything turned around. Ryan was so frustrated in school that he asked to be homeschooled, and his mother actually homeschooled him for a year. And Ryan says he learned more in that year than he had learned in the whole rest of the years put together up until that point. And his mother actually ended up becoming a teacher later in life.
And I need you to tell me something that's crazy and interesting about yourself.
When Ryan was in kindergarten, he was obsessed with the movie First Blood, starring Sylvester Stallone. Now, this is a pretty intense action movie, and he was so inspired by it that he actually took steak knives from his family's kitchen to school with him, and he was prepared to try to bring some justice to the playground, like Sylvester Stallone in that movie. Luckily, he was stopped by the teacher before anything crazy could happen. But that story does show the power of Ryan's imagination, especially when it comes to film.
I like this. That'll work.
Things got very exciting in the Gosling home when his uncle moved in with the family because his uncle worked as an Elvis impersonator. It's true. He went by the name Elvis Perry, and the whole Gosling family got involved in his production. Like, they would help with the costumes and dealing with the crowd, and they would go perform at malls. It was a very exciting time in young Ryan Gosling's life. Unfortunately, Ryan's uncle was diagnosed with cancer and had to stop performing as Elvis Perry, and Ryan not only felt bad for his uncle and the illness in the family, but he also missed the excitement of the show. And he started thinking, I want something else like that. One of my favorite things about Ryan Gosling is he has a dance background. He used to be in like a dance company as a boy, and it was one of those things where he was the only boy and all of the rest of the people in the company were girls. And he would come out in the middle of the girls at the dance shows and do his little hip wriggles and like shake his tush or whatever, and they would win all the trophies.
Able to dance and sing, he would soon be able to showcase his talents in 1993.
When Ryan Gosling was 12 years old, he went to an open call in Montreal for a new TV show called The New Mickey Mouse Club. It was a reboot of the old Mickey Mouse Club. It was a total long shot, but he got it. He got a 2-year contract. He got to go live in Orlando. He was working every day with people like Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Carrie Russell.
And he's right up there in terms of talent. He can sing, he can act, he can dance, and all of these things would absolutely come into play over the course of his career.
When he first moved to Florida to do the Mickey Mouse Club, Ryan's mother came down with him, but eventually she had to return to Canada for work. So Ryan actually ended up living with Justin Timberlake's family, and Justin's mom became his legal guardian for a while.
Hi. Oh, hi. Nice to meet you on set. Hi.
After the cancellation of the Mickey Mouse Club in 1995, Ryan Gosling returned to Canada where he continued to appear in TV series. Struggling in school, he dropped out at the age of 17 and moved to Los Angeles to pursue his dream of becoming an actor.
So even though Ryan Gosling had a strong start as a preteen, he still had to prove himself when he started out in the industry. And so in the late 90s, TV executives really didn't know if he was right for the role of Hercules. And he had to audition a ton of times, and everybody's kind of going back and forth because he didn't have the body type, and he definitely had the swagger. And so eventually, these incredibly smart executives decided, we're gonna cast this kid, and we are going to make sure that his costumes are tailored to make him look like a little bit more like Hercules that everybody knows, and his personality and his acting chops totally filled in the rest.
Initially enjoying the series, Ryan later transitioned to film to explore diverse roles and declined further television work. His former experience with Disney helped him land roles in films with meaningful messages, proving that he was capable of handling thematically heavy work.
Ryan Gosling started off pretty fast and never slowed down because in 2000, he was still a really new performer, but he starred in a movie with Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans. And this was an incredibly emotional true story about segregation in football and sports, and it was a hot topic.
At 19 years old, Ryan moved to New York where he auditioned for the film The Believer. From director Henry Bean, Gosling stood out and earned the role, which became a pivotal moment in launching his career in the independent film industry.
Ryan's big break as an actor came in 2001. The movie was called The Believer, and he played a Jewish neo-Nazi. The director later said that part of what drew him to Ryan was he felt that Ryan's background as a Mormon really helped him relate to the isolation that can come with that particular kind of Judaism. With that one movie, The Believer, Ryan was totally able to rebrand himself as a serious young dramatic actor. He later said that that movie gift-wrapped for him his entire career.
He's a Jewish Nazi. I mean, he strives to be that. It's based on a true story about this kid who grew up going to yeshiva and through a series of events in his life became a pretty big leader in the Nazi movement.
Watching Ryan is, I mean, he's just a brilliant, brilliant boy. I mean, I just think he's just a fabulous young actor.
In shooting the film, we didn't have more than 2 takes, and we didn't have makeup, and we didn't have rehearsal time or anything, so. And they're both fun. You know, they're both fun. I had such a great time on Titans, but this, I'm just enjoying this process so much more because I think you really feel like you made it. And it's kind of like when you make a drawing for your mom and you bring it to you and you go, see? You know? It just feels like that here. It feels like we're going, see what we made, guys? And you get to watch it with the people, and it's the first time anyone's seeing it.
One of Ryan's early movies was a thriller called Murder by Numbers, starring Sandra Bullock. The movie was just so-so in terms of reviews and box office, but they actually ended up dating for a year.
In 2004, Ryan played in a movie adaptation that showcased his chivalrous side.
I feel like in a certain respect it's kind of harder to do a film like this because you have nothing else to hold on to. It's a movie about feelings, and so you kind of have to feel, and you have to feel on film. So it's very exposing, and it leaves you kind of vulnerable, you know?
He portrayed a poor but passionate young man who falls in love with a rich woman and decides to distance himself to protect her future due to their social differences. The film's mainstream success, earning $115 million worldwide, launched Gosling's career and established him as a sex symbol.
I'm not without ideas. I have ideas, but I think that the only way to let an actor flourish is to give him some freedom. The part is theirs, it's not mine. I try to create an environment that is supportive and safe, and I try to encourage them to be everything that they can be.
I think it's all about the chemistry between the actors, and the script is a wonderful script. The script really worked, and I think these two, between Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling, they really pulled it off.
Interestingly, his co-star on the film became his real-life girlfriend for 2 years, despite their initially combative relationship on set.
Everything comes and goes from The Notebook. It was by far his most popular role of all time, and he's been in a ton of incredibly popular things, but regardless of whether you wanted to see that film or if you got dragged to see that film, you still remember how warm and passionate and incredible he was as Noah in that movie. I don't know how it's possible that he and Rachel McAdams didn't like each other when they first started recording the movie, because it was like, how do you not like the two of them?
The characters have to believe in themselves in order to kind of believe in each other, if that makes any sense. I know that sounds silly, but you have to have actors, I think, that are taking their characters really seriously in order to believe that they're actually falling in love, you know?
After the movie The Notebook wrapped, he wanted to connect to reality again and kind of get back to normal life, so he got a job at a deli, making sandwiches.
He often takes breaks in his career and signs up for a project only if he is deeply convinced about it.
It's really just like the best way to describe it is like when a song comes on and you feel like dancing, you know? You don't know why, it just makes you want to dance, you know? And I think that's how it feels when you find a project. It's maybe not just the script or the director or something, but it's just something about it that you have a chemistry with. And then you spend the movie trying to figure out why that is.
The movie Half Nelson was another big break for Ryan as an actor. He played a drug-addicted junior high school teacher, and 6 months before shooting, Ryan moved to New York and actually spent time shadowing a real junior high school teacher. The hard work paid off, and he got his first Oscar nomination for the role.
When most actors are early in their careers, they do plenty of indie movies that nobody ever talks about again, and that is not the case for Ryan Gosling in Lars and the Real Girl. This movie, by any standards, should have kind of come and gone quietly. It's a good movie, it has a really interesting script, but Ryan Gosling is the key to selling a really weird concept where this broken, sad character who's grieving over his mother's death decides that his new girlfriend is a real doll, made out of plastic, not a real person, and his entire small town just jumps on board because they know that it's emotionally important for this character, and it's such a sweet, memorable film that revolves completely around the fact that Ryan Gosling can sell any concept he's involved in.
After a 3-year break, Ryan returned with 5 movies between 2010 and 2011. Remaining true to his love for independent films, he opted for the naturalistic style of Derek Cianfrance. This time, he wasn't in a sweet romance, but rather in the story of a chaotic divorce.
For the marital drama Blue Valentine, Ryan Gosling and his co-star Michelle Williams actually lived together while they were shooting it in a little house in rural Pennsylvania. They thought that being in each other's space like that would help give them the history that would help their characters. Blue Valentine was so intense that after it was over, Ryan returned home and went to the doctor to get a physical.
I did Blue Valentine, which is very heavy. And then I went to the doctor and he wrote me a prescription that said do a comedy. And so I did this.
In 2011, he showcased his comedic range by starring in a film where he played against type and took on the role of Jacob Palmer, a charming and confident womanizer.
It's not a very realistic character, you know, nobody's really, it's like Bugs Bunny. I mean, everyone wants to be Bugs Bunny, but there's no Bugs Bunny.
Allegedly, when Ryan Gosling was given the script for Crazy Stupid Love, not only did it not have a great name, but it really didn't exist. The only thing that was truly happening with that movie was that Steve Carell was in it, and Ryan Gosling just really wanted to work with Steve Carell. It showed us that he's hilarious. This is one of his funniest movies to date, and he keeps up with some of the best comedic performers in the business.
Oh my God, you Miyagi'd me.
Huh.
Crazy Stupid Love in 2011 was Ryan Gosling's first movie comedy. He had only been in serious movies up until then, but he relished the chance to show another side of himself and also take off his shirt, and the response was great. He even got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Comedy.
The offers poured in for Ryan. He opted for the indie film Drive and specifically chose Nicholas Winding Refn as the director due to his radical style.
In 2011, Ryan Gosling did a movie that was pretty different for him in Drive, where he's playing a character that doesn't even have a name. He's just called the driver. He's involved in some unscrupulous things, but when he meets the right girl who has the right child, he hangs out with them and he really cares about them. And something that Ryan Gosling does a lot in his career, mostly starting with Drive, is walk that line between someone who can be dangerous and threatening, but who is also doing things for the right reasons. Drive is another movie where Ryan Gosling also did the thing that his character does. So he restored the Chevy Malibu that the character drives, and it took him, half a year or something, and he decided that that was key to really bringing the driver to life.
In the movie The Ides of March, directed by George Clooney, Ryan plays an ambitious press secretary to an American politician. Ryan said that part of the appeal of the movie is he wanted to learn about American politics. He grew up in Canada and he wasn't as familiar with the history of American politics or the dynamics, and he said doing this movie really helped get him up to speed with the country he was then calling home.
My character really wants to affect change in the country and in the world, and believes that his candidate can do that, but if his candidate isn't going to win, then he's not going to be able to be effective.
He's just brilliant. Ryan finds this amazing balance between being true to his character and yet being entirely present and spontaneous.
Next, he reunited with director Derek Cianfrance for The Place Beyond the Pines. He played a complex character, a motorcycle stuntman with a troubled past. While the on-screen relationship may have ended in heartbreak, Gosling's off-screen romance with Mendes flourished and has since resulted in a beautiful family.
Ryan and his partner, Eva Mendes, actually have two beautiful daughters, Esmeralda and Amada, and the couple want their household to be bilingual, so Ryan's working on his Spanish. Ryan describes his partner, Eva Mendes, as a dream mother and his two daughters as dream babies. He never really saw himself as a family man, but now that it's happened this way, he feels like the luckiest man in the world.
In 2013, Ryan then reunited with Nicholas Winding Refn for the violent revenge drama Only God Forgives, after rejoining Emma Stone in the crime thriller Gangster Squad as a 1940s LAPD officer. That same year, Ryan announced that he would be taking a break from acting to focus on his personal life and directorial debut.
This feels like a natural progression, Been doing it since I was 12, and as things have gone on, I've just gotten more involved in the actual creation of the movie, picking the directors or putting them together, producing them, helping to write them. So it just feels like a natural progression to sort of make it myself.
In 2013, Ryan was burnt out on acting and he wanted to try something different, so he tried his hand at writing and directing. The movie was called Lost River. It actually premiered at Cannes, but the response was not great. The reviews were pretty unkind, and soon after, Ryan went back to acting.
And cut. Really good take. That was nice.
In 2015, he went back to movies as a salesman in the ensemble satire The Big Short.
The Big Short is about a group of outsiders in the high finance world who basically predict the financial collapse and the housing bubble crisis, and they find a way to sort of bet against the big banks and win.
Right from the beginning when I was writing the role, I was like, this has to be Ryan Gosling. This has to be Ryan Gosling. I had met with Ryan Gosling before and just loved him. Just thought he was the coolest guy. He's funny as hell.
Tell me the truth. Am I a bad person?
Yes.
The following year, he starred in the black comedy The Nice Guys, opposite Russell Crowe, as a down-on-his-luck private detective.
On a fundamental level, it's a good detective story.
Ryan is an unbelievable guy. I mean, he always is so real. He's always genuine. He never lets the audience down. I mean, they root for him.
Okay, listen, this is very important. We need to speak to Amelia. Does anyone know where Amelia is?
That same year, he played a struggling jazz pianist falling in love with an inspiring actress in Damien Chazelle's musical La La Land, a very demanding role that many actors turned down, for which he received an Oscar nomination for Best Actor.
The first dance number between Emma and I is, there's a lot of moving pieces to that. It's all in one take. It starts with a scene, it becomes a song, and then it turns into a dance routine. So we practice for about 3 months beforehand.
In addition to acting, Ryan's also an accomplished musician. He was actually in a band once called Dead Man's Bones, and he played jazz guitar. In the movie La La Land, Ryan doesn't just sing and dance, he also plays the piano, and he wanted those scenes to look real, so he studied for months and months and learned to play the piano. And he didn't want there to be any camera trickery or somebody else's hands. He wanted it to be him. And his hard work played off. He won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy.
Ryan brings so much, but the thing that I was most excited by is how funny he is. I mean, I've always known that he's funny, but he's really, really, really funny in this movie. He's also incredible. I mean, he learned to play the piano stunningly well. And can dance, he can sing, he's kind of got it all,
It feels good to be able to bring something So I'm happy to be bringing this film.
In 2017, he dived into sci-fi with Denis Villeneuve's sequel to Blade Runner. He portrayed K, a Blade Runner and replicant, as someone struggling with his identity and searching for his place in the world.
Though he'd been a movie star for well over a decade, the movie Blade Runner 2049 was the first time Ryan worked on a big-budget franchise movie. And it took a while for him to adjust to it. You know, there was the secrecy around the scripts and all the rumors and what's happening, and he'd never been part of one of those movies before, and it was an adjustment.
It really isn't simple to take a beloved, iconic film like Blade Runner and make a sequel and star in it, but Ryan Gosling is the perfect choice for this because the way that he builds characters and the attention that he pays is exactly the kind of passion that you need in order to build a proper sequel to something like this. And it's by far one of his most successful movies at the box office. Ryan Gosling works with a lot of the same directors and actors time and time again because I think they're just as obsessed with him as we are. And when he worked with Damien Chazelle again for First Man, he played Neil Armstrong. And for Americans, certainly there are few people more noteworthy than that man. And it's kind of a big role to take on. But Ryan Gosling approached it with his normal amount of attention to detail and care. And it turns out that he discovered, when no one else in the production knew, that Neil Armstrong was really obsessed with the theremin. And that instrument ended up being used a lot in the score because everyone felt like that detail really added something to his performance, to the movie itself. It was a show of respect. That's exactly the kind of game that Ryan Gosling brings. Like, he doesn't come to play.
I think the greatest challenge of the film was knowing that Neil Armstrong's sons were going to see it, and you know they'll be seeing. You know, this is a film about their dad and their mom and them, and I think for me that was always heavy on my mind in honoring Neil's legacy.
Good. Ryan took another break to focus on his family life from 2018 to 2022, and then returned.
For the Netflix movie The Gray Man, Ryan worked with the directing duo the Russo brothers. Now, they come from doing a lot of Marvel movies, the Avengers and so forth, and Ryan was very impressed with the way they were able to be spontaneous and fun in the middle of this gigantic production. Like, they were able to keep things fresh and lively, even though the scale of the thing was immense.
I feel like I haven't seen Ryan Gosling, tear up an entire city in an action movie until The Gray Man came out on Netflix. And I was like, oh right, it's super fun to watch a car chase, and it's even better when Ryan Gosling is behind the wheel. Yay! And so these guys completely tore up what seems like all of Europe to make this movie. Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans together are exactly the kind of magic that you would assume that they would be. As legend has it, they didn't even really have much of a script. A lot of times they would just let these actors improvise with each other, and Ryan Gosling is so good at it.
Next, he signed up to bring his signature blend of charm, humor, and depth to an unexpected character in the modern comedic adaptation of the Barbie story.
When Greta Gerwig got hired to write and direct a movie, Barbie, about the famous doll, the actor she wanted for Ken was Ryan Gosling. But he wasn't available. But then COVID happened and everything got delayed and Ryan became available. So Ryan is going to be playing Ken, and it's perfect because he's the world's favorite boyfriend.
Ryan Gosling is a perfect casting for Ken. The thing about Ken is that the doll is a blank slate. Anyone playing with the doll is the one dressing the doll, is the one coming up with the doll's story, and Ken is essentially what you want them to be, and that's kind of Ryan Gosling. He manages to, while having integrity as a performer, just immediately be the person that you want him to be in the movie that you're watching him in. It's kind of amazing.
Off-screen, Gosling is equally intriguing, known for his laid-back personality and to poke fun at his celebrity status. He's also passionate about social and environmental causes, using his platform to raise awareness and make a positive impact in the world.
When he's not on a movie set, Ryan tries to give back in whatever way he can. He's active with PETA, a big champion of animal rights. And when Hurricane Katrina hit, he flew down to Mississippi to offer whatever help he could. When Ryan Gosling's not working, he likes to do things that open up his world. For example, in 2005, he went all the way to Chad to make a documentary about the Darfur refugees that were living there at the time.
He's a devoted father and husband, an accomplished and committed actor. He can dance, he can sing. One might wonder if there's anything he can't do.
I'm also really excited to see Ryan Gosling in a horror movie. I have never seen him in anything that is a genuine horror movie with a monster in it, and so Ryan Gosling plus Wolfman equals take my wallet. There's literally nothing that he can't do, and there's nothing that everyone on the planet doesn't want to watch him doing. He's incredible.
He's so fantastic at that kind of banter, and we get along really well. And so it's been nice to kind of have that teammate, that partner.
Beautiful.